All right, that's fine. That means I get to do it twice. All right, it is 6 o'clock. I'll call the Finance and Personnel Committee to order. We will begin with the roll. Alder Close.
Here.
Alder Lefebvre.
Here.
Alder Decker.
Here.
Alder Perella.
Here.
Mitchell is here. We have a full committee today. Will you all please join me in the pledge? Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, then barring objections, we have a different order on the agenda. Never mind. Item 4 is the approval of the minutes from the committee meeting held on June 23rd. Do we have any discussion on those minutes? If not, we would be looking for a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion passes. Those minutes are approved. Next up is item 5, public comment, limit of 3 minutes per person with comments limited to items on this agenda. Do we have anybody for public comment tonight? Seeing none, we will move on to item 6, which is report number 2 of 2526 by the City Attorney Department submitting the quarterly claims report.
Thank you. So this is our first opportunity to present the new claims reporting style to the committee. We would appreciate any feedback that you have for future claims reports, but otherwise the document is self-explanatory.
Any questions or comments? Alder Perella.
No, it's very clear and I appreciate it.
It's very clear and I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
Alder Close.
Yes, my only feedback would be, could we possibly add an anticipated resolution date to the report so that we know when we could see a potential resolution?
I'm going to say that depends, because each claim has to be handled on its own merits. Sometimes we receive notice of claim before we receive all of the documentation to allow us to investigate the claim. It would be very difficult for me to provide you an estimate of time on that. Some claims are open for a long while, others are closed very quickly. So many factors are at play.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? So if not, just my 2 cents. I like this new format quite a bit. Instead of having them filed one by one when it's rather rare that there's any deep discussion in any individual one of these that comes through committee. Definitely makes sense to have them all together on a report, including the information summarizing the nature of the claim and what the final decision was as well. So thank you.
Thank you. So then we would just be asking, so I believe that this report is being submitted just for informational purposes, so we won't be asking for any action on that.
Just motion to file?
I'm sorry?
Just a motion to file?
Yes.
And in future, we would move to approve all of them. How would we move on? What is the type of action for future reference on that report?
Good question. So because of the new ordinance codifying the earlier policy, staff is going to be handling all of the claims administration up to their settlement thresholds unless they reach out for additional input. When their thresholds are exceeded, then something will be brought to your attention for specific action with a recommendation included in it.
Mm-hmm. On the individual basis?
Yes.
Okay.
Any further discussion? If not, we'd be looking for that motion to file.
I make a motion to file.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to second, then seeing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it, and the motion passes. That one is filed. Brings us to report number 3 of 2526. Pursuant to Sheboygan Municipal Code 2-912 sub B, which requires the comptroller to file with the Common Council not less than monthly a list of claims approved showing the date paid, the name of the claimant, the purpose, and the amount. The attached list of paid vouchers for May 2025 is provided.
Good evening. Unless you have any specific questions with this report, we would just be looking to file.
Questions or comments on the report? If not, we'd be looking for that motion to file.
I make a motion to file.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, then seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Item is filed as well. Takes us to item 8, which is report number 4 of 2526 by the City Attorney Department, submitting the City Attorney Office's monthly report for July 2025.
Thank you. So we've we've tried to incorporate a lot of the feedback that we've received so far, and I appreciate that. This report is our mid-year opportunity to look back on last year and do a little bit of a comparison of where we've come. And I'm just pulling it up here. So I included the same benchmarks that I've been including month to month, providing the year-to-date matters by status to give you a little bit of an idea of how things are fluctuating each month. And then also by matters by department, rather than just providing you the top submitters, I've included the breakdown of all departments so that you can have a better picture for this mid-year review. We did notice in developing this report that blank populated, and upon further research we found out that that relates to the matters that the City Attorney's Department creates to document how other items are coming to our attention outside of the software. So we've made some improvements within our department to make sure that those are appropriately assigned. Matters by type, council documents continue to be the highest activity for our department, but you'll see that advice is a close second. And you'll see that open records request is now third. We are trying very hard to make sure that we're keeping track of any open records requests that we become aware of, whether we're involved in helping the records custodian responding to that or whether we're just keeping tabs of it. The city does not currently have a system in place to track these requests. We are working on building that into the new website. And then on page 4 of the report, you'll see the year-over-year comparison with a couple of disclaimers that I'll add is some of our internal processes have changed, so that reflects in the numbers. I think that, for example, the negative 233% average completion time change is not necessarily that we've modified our behavior so much that we've seen a 233% reduction in time involved, right? But it does reflect that we are now better reflecting the work that our office is involved in on matters. So instead of keeping something open while our review or management is done and now we're waiting for the council cycle to go through, we're closing it once it's referred to council. If we need to revisit, we'll open it back up again. Unfortunately, the number of overdue matters has risen. I think that this relates to the nature of the work that we're dealing with. So development agreements will be opened when an opportunity presents to even start discussing a project. And that'll stay open for the life of negotiation up until the point when something is brought forward to council. Open records requests similarly can stay open for a period of time as the records custodians work to sort through their records to locate potentially responsive ones. We do see a very high success rate in timely completion of matters that relate to council documents, advice, contracts, things like that, the day-to-day activities that our office is involved in. So I feel very comfortable with that, and working with our outside legal partners to manage our workload has been very helpful for that too. And then as far as the litigation activity, I'm happy to report there have been no new lawsuits filed since the last report. 7 prosecutions that were handled in circuit court have been resolved. And then 3 circuit court actions have resolved all favorably to the city. I welcome any questions or other additional feedback.
Questions or comments?
Yeah, I just appreciate it. It makes so much sense. I appreciate to have the summary on regular basis and to witness the progress and the attempts of streamlining your work. When I first saw that the average completion time had reduced from 109 to 27, I said, wow. And but I understand the reason, the explanation behind it. So I just want to share a word of appreciation for this effort as well.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, I'll just echo my thanks for the greater depth of information that has been coming before the committee to help continue to keep us more informed as to the ongoings in the city attorney's office. There hasn't been a new lawsuit filed against us since the last report. Given the reports are monthly, hopefully that's eventually not an accomplishment, but for now we will take it. And if there's no more discussion, I believe we'd be looking for a motion to file on this one.
I make a motion to file.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, then seeing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion passes. That one is filed as well. Next up is item number 9, which is resolution number 53 of 2526, authorizing the purchase of approximately 78.06 acres of land in the town of Wilson, identified as the parcel numbers listed on the agenda, from Claire A. Gartman.
Oh, there we go. All right, good evening. Before you is a resolution to purchase 78.06 acres of land in the town of Wilson. This is a very similar agreement to the Gartman property purchase that we had previously. It's just south of the existing Gartman land. There is some land in between that would still remain in the township. So this would be a little bit before we are able to move forward with development on the property, but would tie in with the overall development of infrastructure throughout that whole area as well.
Questions or comments?
I would just say the speculation for this purchase would essentially to be looking at a residential development down in that area as well.
Thank you. Any discussion from committee? If not, we'd be looking for a motion to approve on this one.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, then seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion passes. That one is approved. Takes us to item 10, which was resolution number 54 of 2526, authorizing entering into a non-binding letter of intent with KBC Advisors Services, LLC, regarding property located at the intersection of Stall Road and South Taylor Drive.
I'll take this one as well. Kind of as explained there, we're working with a large industrial user on this property. They have chosen to remain anonymous. They would like, I believe it's 210 days to work through their due diligence on the property to come back with a formal proposal. This proposal, we anticipate that they're going to be proposing several hundred jobs and a lot of investment in that area. So definitely something that was done speculatively when the industrial park was built. This is the ideal user that was designed to be attracted with the infrastructure and investment the city put into this. So great reuse of that property. With this, we're nearing completion of all available property, kind of starting to get locked up in the industrial park. So.
Which is great to hear.
Yes.
Questions or comments from committee? Alder Decker?
Yes, I think I just want to applaud the city administrator and planning director for their due diligence in getting this done. I think this is a big win for the city that this, as this moves forward, we're to bring more jobs to the city and to add to our tax base. I think is just a big win. Thanks.
Alder Perrella.
Yeah, I just was providing the same comment because we know that the city has to make an effort to become attractive for business of this level. And so it's only because of the good work that the administration has done that we have made the city available and appealing to a business of this type. And so I applaud that, and I hope we will be able to go through that and see and finally seeing our industrial park come to fruition. Thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, we would be looking for a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Then seeing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion passes. That one is approved as well. Brings us to item 11, which is resolution number 55 of 2526, authorizing retaining outside legal counsel to represent the city in the matter of the estate of Gertrude M. Florian.
This is a housekeeping matter. I apologize that I had forgotten to submit this resolution a few weeks earlier. I had given an update on this matter in an earlier monthly report, but this is a matter to appoint a personal representative to sell vacant property that it has not been resolved in the administration of a personal estate after that owner's death. I anticipate that all expenses will be paid by the estate.
Any discussion from committee? Alder Perrella.
What is the action we need to take on this?
This would be a motion to approve or to recommend approval for the city attorney's office to retain this outside counsel.
Which, if there is no further discussion, would be the motion that we are looking for at this time.
I make a motion to recommend for approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion passes. That one is approved. Takes us to item number 12, resolution number 57 of 2526, authorizing entering into a tax incremental district development agreement with Waterside Hospitality LLC for the development of the property located at North A Street and Ontario Avenue.
I'll take this one. So this is the Sheboygan Inn project. If you're familiar with that property, it's right by Fountain Park. The city had acquired it last year. The goal is to move forward with the hotel. It's going to be 104 rooms. The bottom will be a commercial distillery, and the top will be a restaurant rooftop. So exciting stuff. I think it would help with the downtown area immensely. We also have the developer here if you are looking to ask any questions at all.
Any questions for staff or the developer from committee? Alder Decker.
Not a question, just basically, again, recognizing the great work that the city staff has done on this project. I think this is an awesome project coming through, and we're kind of sticking to the tradition of having a hotel on that corner. This will be the third version of a hotel on that same corner, so we're looking forward to this new development.
Any other discussion from committee? Alder Perrella.
Yeah, if it is possible to provide some additional information for the public's sake on what's the rationale behind having a hotel and this type of hotel in the city. I do see that I have only a positive approach towards this project for different reasons, but I would like to make public what is the data that we provide as a rationale for this solution here.
All right. So we've been going around and meeting with all the major employers in the region and trying to understand what their needs are. Obviously, housing is one of the big ones. Another theme that we heard pretty consistently was the lack of business travel hotels. I know there are some coming into the market, but they specifically pointed out the lack of flagged hotels in the downtown area. So this is a good complement for that need that was identified by multiple companies that we met with. Also with the Wild Center revitalization that is going on, this is a good complement. We've been working with Mr. Oliver and his company to try making sure that we look at appropriate level restaurant and distillery that would go in there and be a complement to what's going on downtown. Not just a regular type restaurant, but something that would be a good complement. The Wild Center, those folks have had really positive feedback. Obviously, more catering opportunities for events in their event space is a good partnership right off the bat with a new operation going in there. And then making sure that we got a particular level of hotel that we felt was appropriate and not necessarily something that exists already in the area. I know we really shot for the AC level. Unfortunately, Marriott wouldn't necessarily lend the brand the AC title. So working with Mr. Oliver and his team at Halo, and I believe Lockery Group's also involved with this, looking at partnering and understanding that we would design and build out to an AC level, but not necessarily have the AC brand. It'll still be a Marriott, Spring Hill, very good product, but building it to that higher level to make sure that we have that higher end business travel covered, and obviously folks that are coming in for events have that opportunity to also have that higher level amenity available. I don't know if Mr. Oliver, if you want to add any more.
After about a 5-second delay. There you go.
Yeah, it's actually kind of personal for me. So I'm based out of St. Louis, but I've been traveling to Sheboygan, I guess for 6 or 7 years now from some previous development we did here. And I personally had this angst of not having great places to stay. So I'm really thrilled to be working on this hotel option. We think it's going to be great. We have a lot of time into it at this point. So we think it's going to be spectacular. It's just such a great location, and we're just thrilled to continue working in the city. So, yeah. Any questions I can answer otherwise?
Yeah, the type of restaurant that you want to include with this hotel, could you give me a better concept of what type that would be? Because in my mind, we need more fine dining downtown.
Yeah, so it's obviously still in development, but the idea is that it is a rooftop element where you have lake views, and it would be an elevated experience. My partner on this is Raleigh Lockery. Raleigh's done many of these concepts all throughout Wisconsin, has a great eye for it. So it's a really good partnership in this one.
Well, I appreciate that, because I know I'm also on the redevelopment authority, and we just saved basically one of our fine dining experiences downtown, Rupp's Restaurant, which has got a huge history here in town, and we almost lost it.
That would have been
and I can remember, because I've been a lifelong resident in this city, we had the Hofbrau, we had Everett's Lodge, which was Rupp's, and we had a lot of fine dining. Gino's Top of the First. We had a lot of fine dining in downtown, and when downtown was more of a place to go.
Yeah.
I think this idea of having the hotel there, it will, and with the development of the Steffi Wild Center and many of the other projects that are going down, this fits in well.
We're excited. Great, thank you. We look forward to the next steps, guys.
Thank you. Alder Close.
Yeah, and I apologize for bringing it back to you, but I was hoping you could speak to some of the more publicly available amenities that might be available, like conference rooms or things like that. I know it's early in the development cycle, but is there any intent for making some publicly available areas that people from Sheboygan could utilize, not just necessarily business travelers?
Yeah, I would say that we're probably a little early to speak about that. You know, this, like all development, is very linear and kind of dominoes have to fall. So our conversations and process with Marriott's been great to this point, but we really have to get through this step with the city to be able to advance the conversations with them. So I don't want to prematurely say anything that I have to go back on later. So yeah, we think it'll be a great amenity for the area, though, for sure.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other discussion from committee? Alder Perella.
Just a technical part on the TID. Do we need to amend the TID for this project?
No, this is a TID development agreement. This was already planned in TID 21. This was part of the project plan when we went into this. This is now that coming to fruition.
Thank you.
Last call for questions or comments. If there are none further, we'd be looking for a motion to approve on this one.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, then seeing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion passes. That one is approved, and thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Takes us to item number 13, which is resolution number 58 of 2526, authorizing entering into a First Amendment to Tax Incremental District Development Agreement with Ludke Apartments, LLC, FKA Yakima Hall Apartments, LLC, regarding the development of the property located at 2601 North 15th Street.
I will take this one. This is going to be a two-story building. It's going to be a total of 32 units. 16 of them will be a one-bedroom and 16 of them will be a two-bedroom. This is looking to hit that affordable housing, that missing middle. The previous director, Diane, she had passed an affordable housing policy, and this project fits within that policy. I do think this project would be a great asset to that area. Additionally, would fit our housing study and help fill some of those units. We also have the developer with us here tonight.
Questions, comments? Alder Decker?
Yes, I guess I thought there was going to be some three-bedroom in that originally that get taken out of the plan. Is that what happened there?
Correct, yes. If the developer or Casey wanted to additionally add, I know at one point that was the hope. The contracting and the finances of that didn't pencil out to the way that we had hoped.
Okay.
Is this working? Yes, yep. Okay. Yeah, so originally it was a three-story concept with 11 one-bedroom, 11 two-bedroom, and 11 three-bedrooms. And it was a new concept for our group, and I misestimated on the front end is basically what it comes down to. After we got our final plans, close to state approval, and got our bids back from local contractors, it came in about $2 million higher than budget. So we had to kind of go back to the drawing board and go with a concept we are comfortable with that we have done before elsewhere, and we kind of pivoted as quickly as we could given time requirements, and resubmitted the plans to the city, and it is now a two-story concept with just ones and twos.
Do you have any follow-ups?
Well, I guess I'm a little bit, I was hoping to get some three-bedroom in there. I guess because we do have in our city, I think we have a need for three-bedroom, and I don't know where we're gonna, is it possible to include some three-bedroom in this concept at all, or?
I think it'd be very difficult from a cost per unit standpoint. I kind of bounce that off of our architect side, the same feeling as you. There is kind of that missing three bedrooms, and other developments we have some three bedrooms but this one we had to kind of transition quickly, and wanted to push the unit count to as closest to the original concept as possible, and that didn't lend too well to the 3-bedroom concept. Part of the issues were the added level there, just each 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom unit there, it was just too large. It was 16 to 18 square feet per unit, and they were townhome style, so they each had 3 staircases as well, and garages, and that all kind of led into the cost overruns there. If we were to revisit the design and go back, my fear would be that we would lose density. The 32 units would end up being 20 or something. I don't know exactly what it would be. I'd have to toss that back towards our architect, but then that would probably impact the TID agreement and the guaranteed value and everything. So,
I guess. Well, I guess I would be. I mean, yes, we want density, but I think there's a real need for the 3-bedroom concept. I mean, if we lost a couple of 1-bedrooms to make a couple 2-bedrooms into a 3, I mean, I'm not saying that the whole, but if we could at least get 4 or 5 3-bedrooms into this unit, it would be advantageous, I think, to the city, because we really have that need in the city. I don't know what's the time frame, but Casey, if you want to answer this at all.
Yeah, we really do need the 3 bedrooms. Unfortunately, just the way that this project's kind of fallen, the numbers came back a lot different than what Jake had anticipated, which is totally understandable. He was pretty quick to get turned around on a project so we can keep this on track. The old Jacob Hall was purchased with ARPA funds and was tore down with ARPA funds. So Jake has, I'd say, gone out of his way to try to come up with a solution to keep us on track. Essentially, we need to have that project up, open, and being occupied by the end of 2026. So it's a relatively tight time frame. It's just kind of an unfortunate situation. We were able to get in Malibu a number of 3-bedroom apartments into that project. We're also working, we've got the pre-development agreement with Jake and his company for the Wells Fargo site, so we're going to hopefully try to get more of the 3-bedroom product into that. That will be a mixed development, is what we're shooting for, where it's a mix of the affordable with market rate blended in it.
Yep, that's correct. There are 3s in both of those. Yep.
Hold on a pace.
Yes, I represent the district that Jacob Hall is going to be in. And we need, yes, it would be great to have more density and some 3-bedroom apartments, but what we need is we need the units. Mm-hmm. We don't need them 5 years from now. We need them now, because there is, all over the city, there is a shortage of housing, but especially in that area of District 4. They definitely need that in that district. I would like to bring that home for my constituents. I like this idea.
Thank you.
Hold up, Pearl.
Just to
confirm, this will be 32 affordable rates units, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
And because in this version of the amendment, there is also, there is a reference to affordable rental rates as defined below, but I was unable to find that definition. So I was wondering if you can speak to that.
So the previous director, Diane McGiggins, I believe is her last name, they had passed an affordable policy defining what affordability is. I would refer to that policy. She relied heavily on the HUD standards when it came to the county median income levels. So that's what we've been really working to base this off of, but the previous director had created that policy.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say, but this is something that also for the public to know. What does that mean? It means something similar to what is the HUD or WIDA definition, or if there is a threshold, at least to give an idea of, I want to support this project, no doubt, and especially because it is going to be affordable rental rates. That is actually my major motivation, as we do need affordable units in Sheboygan. And so I just want to clarify, and it's fine if we cannot provide that right now, but I would like to provide that information to the public, perhaps at the Common Council.
Absolutely. So the affordable policy is based on HUD standards. So it is based on HUD.
Very good, thank you. So that would be the 30% of the median average, the median household income.
Diane's policy uses those numbers, correct?
Very good, thank you.
And just to add to that, City Council adopted that in May of 2024. So in the policy adopted by City Council, the calculation is the average monthly rental rate for a two-bedroom apartment as an example on how it's calculated. The HUD home two-bedroom low home rent limit, and then adjusted to the median income is how they're calculating that. So that the example's right in the policy.
Thank you.
Any other questions or Any other questions or comments?
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. If not, we'd be looking for a motion to approve on this one.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have motion and a second, and seeing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it, and the motion passes. That one is approved. Again, thank you for being here. Brings us to item number 14. We are almost halfway. Resolution number 59 of 2526, authorizing the City Attorney's Department to engage in the services of special outside legal counsel to represent the Licensing, Hearings, and Public Safety Committee and Common Counsel with regard to an upcoming quasi-judicial hearing.
Thank you. So typically for quasi-judicial hearings, one attorney serves as prosecutor and the other serves as general counsel to the body. In this case, our office will be serving as prosecution, so we would be needing outside attorneys to handle the general counsel to the committee in the matter. I'm not at liberty to identify the matter at this point, but when I'm able to, I will.
Questions or comments other than the identity of the matter? If not, we'd be looking for a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, then seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it, and the motion passes. That one is approved. Next up is item number 15, resolution number 64 of 2526, authorizing the issuance and establishing parameters for the sale of not to exceed $13,375,000 general obligation promissory notes, Series 2025A.
Good evening. This is our annual debt issuance that we come forward with every year. You may notice that it is a little bit later than usual, which is on purpose. We actually wanted to make sure that we had a solid list of the projects that were actually going to occur this year prior to debt issuance. We do not want to borrow more than what we need. So this item and the next item on the agenda are actually both connected. I did provide you the pre-sale reports that will be provided to council for next week's consideration. They are provided by Ehlers, the city's financial advisors. The total debt issuance is just under $15.7 million. I will say that does sound like a lot of money, but we will say that from the 2025 capital plan, we're actually much less than what we had originally budgeted for and anticipated. So that number originally was closer to $58 million. So when we look at that at the 15.7, I just want to point out that we do our due diligence to make sure that the projects we are borrowing for are, coming forward at the correct time and not putting the city in a financial spot to have any issues with the debt. So the projects that are included within these two debt issuances include the annual street improvement projects, various ADA upgrades, the improvements to the garage at the Municipal Services Building or Public Works Building, some additional upgrades throughout the city with the LED lighting upgrades and police LED lights. Additionally, the Blue Moon purchase that you had adjusted the budget for at the previous council meeting will be borrowed for in this issuance. And a few TID projects, including the Chamberlain DSG building purchase, the Commerce Street Riverwalk construction, marina design, and then pending some additional approvals potentially occurring, the North 6th and 7th Street construction project. I do want to point out that we have the two issuances because the Chamberlain building purchase and Blue Moon purchase qualifies for, it does not qualify for tax exempt status. So we need to do that under a taxable issuance for those two projects. The next steps would be council consideration next Monday, which then if that is approved, we will continue with our issuance process, including a credit rating call. And then we will also then have our bond sale, which is open to, there is a bidding process and we do go forward with the cheapest or the most, the best rate that we can get from those bids through the sale. I'm happy to answer. Are there any other questions you may have?
Questions or comments? If not, we'd be looking for a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, then seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye, the ayes have it, and the motion passes. That one is approved. Next up is item 16, the second leg of this, resolution number 65 of 2526, authorizing the issuance and establishing parameters for the sale of not to exceed $2,305,000 taxable general obligation promissory notes, Series 2025B.
I have no additional comments unless you have questions.
Any questions? Alderperla?
First of all, thank you for providing the paper copy. I'm old-fashioned and on that, at least, and I do appreciate that very much. I have I'm curious about something, and it is, does ever happen that the notes don't sell?
Not that I have ever heard of for the city. We have a high credit rating, so I have never heard of any other city with our type of credit rating not being sold.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If not, we'd be looking for a motion to approve on this one as well.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it, and the motion passes. That one is approved. Next up is item number 17, RO number 8 of 2526, submitting a notice of claim from Society Insurance for alleged injuries to their insured, Therese Weaver. Recommends filing the RO and transferring the submitted claim information to the attorney's office quarterly report.
I'm sorry, I was distracted on a different task. Give me just 1 second, please. All right, we are, thank you. All right, so this is the start of a series of claim documents that we are retiring in lieu of the new system. So for each of this one through item 22, we would be asking that you just move to place on file. And then all of these claims will be contemplated in the new reporting style.
I didn't mean to take these all together, and we'll get that with the next batch coming up, but
My comment, that was good.
fair enough. I wrote down 18 through 22 in my notes. Do we have any questions or comments from committee? Alder Perrella.
I have no problem in lumping them together. The only thing is, so these are all filed, meaning not only transferred and then, we are not going to, this is closing them, right? We are filing them, all of them.
No, the information is being transferred into the new claims reporting system. So all of these claims, if they remain open, which I believe that these ones all are, are contemplated in the new claims report, which you had earlier received.
Very good. So we just move them, and then you will work on them.
Yes.
Afterwards. Okay,
yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, we would be looking for that motion to file the RO and transfer the submitted claim information to the Attorney's Office quarterly report.
And we want to do that for all of them, is that right?
We only have 17 in front of us right now, but then we'll do the next batch together.
Very good. All right. So then I make a motion to recommend filing these RO and transfer that to the Attorney's Office quarterly report.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, then seeing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it, the motion passes. That one is both filed and transferred. Okay, now we'll take items 18 through 22 together, which are various RCs by the 24-25 Finance Personnel Committee, who was referred ROs by the city clerk, submitting notice of claim, notice of injury, and a claim itself. Additional details are available on the agenda. So it's items 18 through 22 together. We would be looking for that same motion to file the ROs and transfer the submitted claim information to the Attorney's Office quarterly report.
Can we do it through the 27?
No, so, sorry, may I?
Okay.
Yeah.
Not all of the items in the agenda are able to be resolved this way, up to item 22, and then also items 24 and 25 and 27 could be resolved this way, but then item 23 and 26 could not be. So you could handle them as a package except for item 23 and 26.
And I went back and forth before the meeting on whether we just take them all together or not, and figured taking consecutive chunks at a time
I'm sorry.
helps us follow along and
Yeah, it
keep
would have
track
been
of where we
cleaner
are.
if all of these were consecutive, and I'm sorry that they were not.
That is all right. So we have 18 through 22 at the moment. Do we have any other discussion on that? Otherwise, we'd be looking for that motion.
Yes, I make a motion to file item 18 through 22 and submit claim information to the Attorney's Office quarterly report.
Second.
Clarification, just to be certain, was the motion to file the ROs attached to the items?
That's correct.
In that case, we have a motion and a second. Seeing no further discussion on these items, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it, the motion passes. Those items have been both filed and transferred. Brings us to item 23, RC number 273 of 2425, submitting a summons and complaint in the matter of Shirley Winkleman versus Sheboygan Police Department. Recommends filing the document.
Thank you. This matter was a lawsuit filed against the City of Sheboygan Police Department. The city was able to have the matter dismissed with prejudice, meaning that it cannot be refiled. Therefore, the City Attorney's Office is asking for a motion to file this document.
Questions or comments on this one? If not, we'd be looking for that motion to file.
I make a motion to file this RO.
Second.
All right, we have motion and a second, then seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it, the motion passes. That item is filed. Okay, then again, we'll take items 24 and 25 together, which are RCs 274 and 275 from the 24-25 Finance and Personnel Committee. submitting a notice of claim, or submitting notices of claim. Further details available on the agenda. Guessing there's no exposition for these two items, same as the previous batch that we had, filing the ROs, getting them transferred into the new system. Okay, in that case, unless there's discussion from committee, we would be looking for a motion to file the ROs and transfer the submitted claim information to the Attorney's Office quarterly report.
I make a motion to file these two ROs and transferring the submitted claim information to the Attorney's Office quarterly report.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Those items again are filed and transferred to the report. Takes us to item number 26, which is RC number 279 of 2425, submitting a summons and complaint in the matter of Planet Home Lending LLC versus Brianna Crump et al.
Thank you. This was a home foreclosure matter for which the city was a party because of monies owed to the city for unpaid, due to unpaid money owed to the city. The city filed a claim to surplus in this matter. The case has been dismissed, so we are asking that the matter be filed.
Any discussion on this one? If not, we'd be looking for that motion to file.
I make a motion to file these RO.
Second.
All right, we have motion and a second. Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it, and the motion passes. That one is filed. Next up is item number 27, the last of our bunch. It was RC number 280 of 2425, submitting a notice of circumstances in the matter of Nathan Jackson by his attorneys, Sperling Law Offices LLC. Another one where we'd be looking for a motion to file the RO and transfer the submitted claim information to the Attorney's Office quarterly report. Do we have such a motion?
I make a motion to file and transfer the submitted claim information to the Attorney Office quarterly report.
Second.
All right, we have motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it, and the motion passes. That RO has been filed, and the claim information has been transferred. All right, next up is item 28, which was a direct referral of resolution number 26 of 2526, authorizing entering into a tax incremental district development agreement with North 6th 7th LLC for the development of the former Aurora Sheboygan Memorial Medical Center site located at 2629 North 7th Street.
Hello, this is a development that I am quite excited on. My office has spent a significant amount of time working with this developer and working with the different community aspects of it. Last time this was discussed was at the committee of the whole meeting. The Common Council had asked and directed staff to contact the previous landowner to see if they would be able to remove the deed restriction. At this time, Aurora has decided not to move forward with that, and they would keep it as it currently is. With that also being said, we reached out to the neighborhood. We met with them last week. I am excited to share over 40 different people showed up. The event was a way for us to get a pulse check and to get some feedback about the current development. It also was a way for us to dispel some misinformation. We were able to have the event. We had the site plans all printed out nicely. We had them on display. When participants walked in, they were given a sticky note, and we asked them to put it on the portion that they liked the most. Something exciting that I found is that someone found something that they had liked, which was encouraging to see. We also had a large memo pad that allowed people to write how the development had made them feel. I will note that was used prior to the information that we had shared with them. It was quite a diverse range of things that were listed. With that being said, they were able to sit and we were able to ask questions with myself. We had a few common council members there. Alderperson Bellinger was there. Additionally, we also had the developers, and we were able to misspell a lot of information. There was a lot of concerns about if they were spec buildings, if people can modify them, the deed restrictions, the timeline of things of that nature. As soon as the project all finished up, you could definitely tell that the community had changed their mindset on it. Something that I would like to highlight is that when Alderperson Bellinger was giving updates about what had happened at the Committee of the Whole, he had shared that the Common Council would like to pursue either a multifamily unit or a larger density project. The room audibly groaned, so much so that I had asked to do a pulse check because I was shocked by their response to that. I had asked the room if they could raise their hand if someone was support of a high density or a duplex or a triplex or something like that. I believe about 2 or 3 people had raised their hands. I had asked then who was in favor of a single family home, and the majority of them had then raised their hand. When it came to the density of the project, even commentators had said that they would prefer to remove one of the homes. They prefer to have larger lot sizes. They felt like that would match the aesthetics more. So those were interesting things that I was not anticipating to get from that, but something that I wanted to convey. With that being said, we have the development agreement here tonight. It is a total of 21 single-family homes. I would ask if there's additional questions.
Well, first, thank you for both the depth of information generally about the proposed project, but also for sharing the feedback that was received at the neighborhood committee or neighborhood group meeting. It's useful extra context for us to have. Any discussion from committee? Elder Close.
Yep, and I'd just like to thank you guys for doing your due diligence and getting more information out to the communities. I am disappointed, though, in that the deed restriction was not lifted and we weren't able to move forward with higher density. I know that the neighborhood expressed disinterest with having higher density, but in my view, I do believe having the higher density, building in more homes as much as we can is one of the best things we can do to address the housing crisis that's going on. That being said, I do support this measure in that we need to get housing in as soon as possible. So again, thank you for your due diligence. Thank you for getting more information out to communities that asked for it and that were able to provide their feedback. So thank you again.
Alder Decker.
Yes. Thank you, Chair. I would echo Alder Close's comments too. I mean, I am disappointed that the deed restriction was not able to be lifted. Like I said, I agree. I wish we could have added a little bit more density to the area. But that being said, I think staff has done due diligence. We've gone over this many times. We've gone through a lot of different iterations of this, and I think it is time to move forward and go with this plan.
Alder LaFave.
Yes, I'd also like to agree that I'm disappointed with the lack of density, but is there going to be any 2-story buildings at all in this project?
So that was asked at the neighborhood association meeting. The developer at this time does not plan on it. However, they had stated that if someone would like a 2-story home, that's something that they would entertain. There will be additional costs to that, but that is something that they can look into.
I'm getting confused here because I'm hearing there's the possibility of a few 2-story buildings, and I've heard rumblings they absolutely won't do it. So what is it?
So I attended the meeting, and that's exactly what the developer said. I know that Alderperson Bellinger was there. If you could also speak to that. Someone had specifically asked if it was a spec home, and the developer had clarified that it was not, that if someone wanted to add walls or add stories or things like that, that's something that they would look into.
Okay. All right.
There was some customization.
John, do you want to come up to the podium?
developer did state that there would be availability for some customization, not wholesale customization, but if somebody had the means and wanted to put something that would be two-story, they would entertain that and look at that and get back to them with, you know, pricing and, you know, a layout and what would work and a design and work with them. So they didn't say no. So
that clears a lot of my confusion. Again, I agree with what is pretty much the general consensus here, is that we don't want just a vacant field there. We want property there. And we got a bird in the hand. We may be not getting precisely what a lot of us want, but this seems like a decent enough compromise.
So a lot of work went into this with the developer, with the design. There were some street views. I don't know if everybody looked at everything online, but I mean, it was a significant amount of work that went into it to satisfy the curiosity of the neighborhood and the surrounding people too. So it was, again, it was very well attended, a lot of very good questions. But at the end, when it all wrapped up, it was way more positive than I thought it was going to be, and I was very encouraged by how the developer answered the questions, how Taylor ran the meeting, and the you know, the interest from the community, you know, the Memorial neighborhood. So it was very well attended, and it was very positive at the end.
Okay.
Any other discussion from committee? Alder Perella.
So first of all, I appreciate the efforts and the engagement with the community at the meeting on the 10th. That is always very positive to me. I received some additional feedback on that meeting, and it wasn't as, let's say, it was slightly different than what we are hearing tonight. But that doesn't surprise me, as, of course, everybody, you know, we tend to report and remember and perhaps sticks to us more what we prefer in a way. I'm not challenging that what you are reporting is truthful. It's just that I have a list of the negative comments and I have a list of the positive comments as someone else reported, and the negative comments are extremely higher in number. But besides that, the one reason I will not approve this project is because someone mentioned the iterations or the versions and so on, but this project has not moved at all from the beginning, regardless of any inputs, concerns, comments. This project that we are approving is exactly the same as it has been presented. And I, for once, don't feel that we have been listened to, or some of us have been listened to. I cannot say that I have seen a genuine effort to listen to some of the concerns, and this is just my perception, which could be wrong, but it's my strong perception at this point.
Good. Director Zeinert, and then come to you, John.
To speak to your comment about some negative feedback, I assume you are talking about the large memo pad. So like how I mentioned before, when people enter, they were encouraged to put a sticky note on the site plan that they liked the most, and then they were encouraged to write how this project makes them feel. As someone who's done multiple of these listening type sessions, I definitely acknowledge that this can be an emotionally charged project where there's lots of feelings and there's lots of things going on. To help kind of get the flow of things and make sure that people feel comfortable expressing how they feel, I find as the Midwesterners that we like to sit quietly and not necessarily vocalize the way that we feel. So the memo pad is a way to really just get that ball rolling. So that's really where you see some of that initial negative feedback. I will say, out of all of the listening sessions that I have run, I had constituents come to me after saying that they didn't know about certain aspects of this project, that they felt really comfortable with they felt comfortable with the direction that this was heading. The large portion of the meeting was kind of dispelling some misinformation, especially when it came to what this product was, the home prices, things of that nature. So the memo pad that you are referring to that has some negative language to it is the initial response that people had. That was before the full picture.
Did you have a response to that?
Thank you. I could not disagree more with Alder Perella's view that people have not been listened to. I've been involved with this. I was involved when Aurora left and went to Kohler and the field address. I've been involved through the whole thing. And this project, there has been a great deal of listening and extra meetings, meeting with neighbors. Casey and I, Marie, I met when I was on vacation in San Diego via Teams to go through concerns with people. We've had different meetings. I've met at the library with groups of people. We've had neighborhood meetings. We've brought in the developer. We've had more meetings. We had a Zoom meeting with Aurora towards the end of the year when this was going on too, with the neighborhood association. So we've had so much input. We've listened. And, to say that, that we haven't listened is, it couldn't be further from the truth. Have things changed to your liking, and is there more density? No, but the lots are, the parcel is what it is, and the lots are only 70 feet wide. They happen to be 190 feet deep, but they are what they are, and I think this is a great fit for the neighborhood. And so we've gone through, we've gone back to Aurora to see if we could amend the agreement, and that hasn't been done. So everything that has come up, every roadblock, it's been addressed. We've listened to it. We haven't just blown it off and said, no, we're not going to do it. The developer at this last meeting said he would entertain 2-story homes if somebody had the means and wanted to look at that. They didn't say no, they wouldn't do it. So to say that, to characterize it is that this is just, we haven't listened, we haven't taken any input from the public, we have been disinterested, and we've just railroaded this thing through, couldn't be further from the truth. I commend the city staff going the extra mile in doing everything they can to be as transparent and open and accommodating in meeting with people individually or in groups or however. It's been multiple meetings, and things have been addressed.
So first of all, thank you both for your feedback on this. Director Zenet, you are right that these were the comments from the beginning, which I have been shared with, yes. And to my colleague, Alder Bellinger, I agree with you that there have been more listening sessions on this project than I've ever seen since I started working serving as an alder. However, I have not seen a real attempt of, and that's, again, this is just my perception, a real attempt of making an impact, so to translate those inputs in some sort of variation on the project. And so listening or participating in listening session doesn't mean that you are really listening. Now, again, I assume that we have to agree to disagree. I I don't want to discount the work that has been done on this project because it has been massive. And a part of me is happy that we are going to put it behind us, I have to admit. But at the same time, I have to recognize and publicly explain that there is a part of me that is dissatisfied with the way that we have not really trying to translate the inputs in some variations, in some form of variation of this project.
Thank you, Alder Peralta. I'm going to jump in on the agree or disagree and really embrace that too. Recognize I see there may be some antithetical disagreements in personal opinion and try to cut off further back and forth on that particular topic. But if there's any other discussion about the project generally, while they're close.
Yes, speaking to earlier when we were talking about how if somebody is interested in making a two-floor home in this development, is there any language in the agreement that's come forward now that would compel them to, the developer, to engage in those discussions with potential buyers, or if they just build out the homes and sell them as is that what we're looking at here? Or is there something some mechanism in place that would allow them to engage in that process for customization?
The way that the agreement currently sits is that they need to do 21 homes, and those homes need to be assessed at a minimum value of $400,000. The way of which they build those homes, that's up to them, but the homes have to come out at a minimum assessed value.
Thank you.
Alder Decker.
Yes, I guess I would answer that, Alder Closen, the fact that their business, if somebody comes along and says, hey, I want a two-story home, I'm going to pay you this much money, I'm sure they're going to go with it because they're in business to make money, and if someone offers them the price that they want to say, hey, I want a two-story home, I'm sure that they will make that accommodation. I believe that. So.
I would just like to share one other anecdote. The day after the meeting, I had a woman who I've never seen before in my life knock on my front door with her daughter. Her daughter moved to Sheboygan 5 years ago, lives in the neighborhood. She wants to move here. She heard such great things about that neighborhood meeting the night before. She wanted to buy a lot, and she wanted contact information for the developer. I mean, this is completely unsolicited. She comes knocking at my door. Who do I contact? My husband and I, we want to build a house. This is perfect. We love the area. We want to be close to our daughter. So I copied Taylor on the email and with the developer and put her in contact. And so it was, was not expecting that result either to come from this, so that was anecdotal but positive as well.
That's good to hear. Thank you.
John, beat me to it.
Okay. Same story. Got it. Apparently I'm too slow on finding that spot on the board. All right, do we have any other discussion on this item? If not, we'd be looking for a motion to approve.
I will make a motion to approve.
Second. All right, we have a motion and a second, and seeing no further discussion, but thank you everybody for a spirited one. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Chair votes aye. The ayes have it, and the motion passes. That one is approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is item number 29, General Ordinance number 10 of 2526, creating section 2-3 of the Sheboygan Municipal Code so as to establish a non-discrimination ordinance.
Thank you. This ordinance codifies the city's existing policies, makes it a little more easier for non-city employees to know who to contact, what the process would be to request an accommodation, things of that sort. These were all informal policies or unwritten policies that the city had been operating under for a period of time. So this is just formalizing that.
Any discussion from committee? Last chance, last item of the day. All right, if there's no discussion, we'd be looking for a motion to approve on this.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it, and the motion passes. That item is approved. Next regular meeting will be on July 28th. With that, we have exhausted our agenda and are looking for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second for adjournment. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it, and the motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.